Capricorn, it's your turn for the August 2021 Zodiac Blessings. Like I mentioned for the previous zodiac signs, a lot of these readings seem to have a theme of release right now, and I believe that's because we are within 3 days of the full moon when I'm doing this reading. And the full moon tends to be a time for letting go and releasing. So you can keep that in mind when you're doing your full moon rituals this weekend, if you come across this later in the month, no big deal. Okay, and I'm using 3 decks. I'm pulling 1 card from each of those decks and then a clarifying card. The decks are the Sacred Rebels deck by Alana Fairchild, the Ethereal Visions deck by Matt Hughes, and the Chakra Wisdom deck by Tori Hartman. Okay, so I'm going to go through and give you the cards, and then I will give you my interpretation. So from Sacred Rebels, we have Defend to the End, the Worthwhile, and that is being clarified by Bring It Into Form. From the Ethereal Visions deck, we have the Artist, which is an additional card that Matt Hughes created, and that is being clarified by the World. So these are both major arcana. So this is big stuff. And then from the Chakra deck, we have Release, which is being clarified by Workaholic. So this is a pretty dead-on Capricorn reading to me. However, we will see how you feel. So starting with the Defend to the End, the Worthwhile, and ending this with this release and workaholic energy, with looking at the Artist at the middle of the spread that I've created. I apologize that I don't have the right setup that you can see the spread, but the Artist really has the message of being in this state of receptivity. So you think about it, you can go about art like a workaholic and just, I do this every day and this is my process. But the reason why we do the thing every day as artists is so that we're in the rhythm of it and we can have that receptivity where, the divine just kind of plops a grand idea into our head and then we act upon it. So we want to be in that state of receptivity. It reminds me of, I think it's a Matisse quote or a story about an artist where they find him painting and he says that he's relaxing. And then they find him laying on a bench with his hands behind his head taking a nap, and they ask him what he's doing and he says that he's working. And what I'm imagining is that the universe right now is kind of urging you to kind of adjust your approach a little bit. Now you are being encouraged to defend to the end the worthwhile, and I think there is something bigger in you that you really, really want, that maybe it's a project that you want to work on or accomplish, that you want to bring into form, or a relationship, or maybe it's both. There's no limit. The Capricorn can really make anything they want to happen as long as they're not getting too wrapped up in the activity of it, the plan of it. But there's something you really, really want, and you might be getting in your head a little bit too much about it. So the thing that you really, really want, maybe there are people telling you that it's not possible, or that it's not a good idea, or it's not in your best interest. Trust yourself. You want this thing. There's all the things in the world that you could want. This is the thing that you want deep down. Allow yourself to want it. And then let the approach be more of an artistic one, where you're kind of receiving the insight, where you have that moment where you're like, ooh, that's a great idea, or you have that desire to act on it. Do it then, rather than in this more strategic Capricorn, it takes hard work after everything's difficult kind of thing. Not that all Capricorns are that way, but you know what I mean. Release that approach, because it's not really how it's going to happen. Because when you really embrace this more artistic, manifestational energy, where you kind of let it in, and you relax a little bit, and you allow yourself to receive it, that's when you're going to really experience that completion that you're looking for. It's hard to travel right now, Capricorn, because of the state of the world. However, you can probably do some local travel to just kind of make sure that you're in that working mode where you're relaxing and letting the inspiration come in. So you can get really, really clear on the thing that you truly, truly want, this project, this relationship, whatever it is, and start to bring it into form. But the way you're going to bring it into form is through that inspiration, not through the hard effort. The hard effort is happening anyway. You're always going to work hard. You're a hard worker. It's fine. You need to release the idea that this particular thing is going to come about that way, and create a little bit of room for the magic of the universe to support you in the process, and create different ways for this to come, whatever it is, to come into form. Does that make sense? So a little less effort and a little more letting go and being in that state of receptivity for the inspiration, the insight. And the inspiration and insight might just be, hey, I think I want to go on a walk this morning. And who knows, you might cross paths with someone who has a suggestion. You never know what it is, but just kind of release a little bit of the efforting. You know, your main rituals, keep doing them, but just check yourself as how you're going about it, because the workaholic energy might actually be holding you back from the thing that you should be defending, the stance that you should be defending, which has something to do with your artistic side. And if it's not actual art, it has to do with that kind of freedom that we associate with artists. Yeah? Okay. I hope this was helpful. If not, it's just meant to be something to trigger some thoughts in your mind. And if you are to release anything this full moon, it's something around that workaholic energy. Okay, take care, and I will see you next month. Namaste.